I'm 56 years old, so when I became bipolar as a teenager, nobody had a clue. It wasn't until I was 47 that I was properly diagnosed.
Just like a lot of people, we were clueless. Even though now we know there's, genetic depression, genetic mental illness in our family. It's nothing that anybody really paid attention to. So it's been a huge education, sobering. Jesse and Kalen, my nephew, are my heroes. I see what they go through. I'm not even aware of what you go through on a day-to-day basis. And, all the different meds you've tried and all the, the fact that she's still here is a great testament of her strength as a human being. So
I was in the habit of trashing relationships with my wildness and, selling a house and buying another one and exchanging cars like once a year and, all that manic stuff. And then, of course, after the mania goes, after you've been up for days and nights, then depression sets in. The depression is sheer blackness. There is no out. There is no future. It's just blackness. You can't prevent yourself from getting manic. You can't prevent yourself from getting depressed. So, when it just becomes so painful that you have to do something about it, I think that's when you do. It has taken years to get to being as steady as I am now.
when I called up Jessie and I said, are you willing to basically out yourself on a national television spot as living with bipolar illness? Are you willing to do that? And she said, without hesitation, she said, yes. And then we both kind of felt this feeling of relief almost, you know, that we'll be there in this huge crowd in the middle of Grand Central Station. She wore that all day long.
I got to experience my own little stigma because I was walking around with this, and all of a sudden I thought, oh my God. I got scared. Like, everybody's going to know my little secret. And it really surprised me because I don't usually care about speaking about it. So that's what stigma's all about. I hope that it will comfort people who are mentally ill, and if they aren't getting help, it'll help them get help. I hope it wakes up people who are not mentally ill into realizing that, you know, we really shouldn't be the brunt of a joke, or, you know, it'll give them some understanding of what we go through.
And then I was thinking also when we were doing it and this crowd started building up, I say 1 in 6 adults has a mental illness, and then you have this big crowd. And he looked at them and he thought, a significant number of the people who go through this station right today are living with mental illness and might have it and haven't known that they have it. Maybe they'll go home and they'll be able to talk about something they hadn't been able to talk about before. It's just the beginning. Words are very powerful.
You know, it took a long time to come to terms with the fact that I do have an illness, and even today, it's hard for me to see, you know, to be honest. And so I think it can be difficult. You know, it's an illness of the brain, and you know, the brain is our tool to see the world. There's all the classic stuff. You know, there's the paranoia, there's the delusions. A lot of times for myself, it's the kindling effect that, you know, when I start to experience symptoms, it's almost as if the symptoms snowball. You know what I mean? And they become more and more powerful. You know, the paranoia feeds off of the delusions and vice versa, and it's just a big net in your mind that is sometimes really difficult to make sense of.
When you say that you have a mental illness, people automatically assume that you're crazy, that you do not have self-control, that you cannot function normally within society, that and that could not be more untrue. With every mental illness, there is a stigma, and hopefully we can break that stigma.
I definitely felt guilt for the majority of the time that I was actually aware that I had something going on. And that's all on top of the anxiety and, the symptoms themselves. I can say I'm lucky because I haven't been treatment resistant. So I've progressively gotten better, and I'm able to produce artwork on a regular basis.
Hopefully this campaign can really kind of enlighten people on the fact that a mental illness does not mean that you cannot function in society at all. This is a long overdue campaign, and I think that we all feel the same way about it.
I'm 17 and Kaylin is 28. Being like the youngest, it was kind of difficult to really know what was going on. My mom kind of kept me away from Kay a little bit because no one totally understood what was happening. I was told he was sick, that he had schizoaffective disorder, and I remember asking my mom, like, what does that mean, like what's happening to Kay, and she would tell me that he would see different things than us or hear different things than us, and that he needed help for that. I don't think people really understand what it is and how it really affects people. In the high school, you'll hear comments like, oh, he's so bipolar, or yeah, the weather's like schizophrenic today, and it's like, it just takes you back because one, those terms don't really even make sense in those sentences, and two, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know how that affects people, that's a serious disorder. Low moments come more from my mom. When she was really depressed, it obviously really affected me because it used to just be me and my mom. I mean, we've always been me and my mom living together since the boys are so much older. But when she was really depressed, I mean, it was really, really hard. I mean, crippling depression for bipolar, she wasn't able to function, really, and that's hard to be young and not having a functional mother. And my brother's one of the strongest people I know because I can't imagine, and yet he does it every single day, and he works through it. My brother is a very talented artist. He's very compassionate and kind. He's my big brother. He's very loving, and he's awesome. He's one of the strongest and kindest people I know. My mom is also a very talented artist. She writes and takes photography. She's amazingly strong. She's very compassionate and kind, and she's funny. She's loving. She might kind of like, she's my best friend. We're partners. To see her happy and functional and living a life is wonderful. I thank God every day, my brother and my mom. Mental illness it's life-changing, and it's hard, and it really affects the whole family. It can be pretty bad, but it can be pretty awesome too in a way. And not that you have it, but just to know about it and to be, it strengthens the family, I think. It gives you a different perspective on life and stuff like that, yeah.